All right, who am I talking with here?
I'm Darrin Wylie, Director of Content and Creative Media at USAA.
And I'm Wylie and Bryant. I'm a Senior Media Production Specialist at USAA.
So break down specifics for me, Leon. What are the specific complications you're dealing with?
There are several challenges. First of all, we are a Fortune 200 financial services company, so security is extremely important to our organization. So the very security that keeps our member information secure also makes it difficult for us to move files from our internal network out to an external party. So far, it's kind of been a combination of some HTTPS sites that we're using, but we find that the credentials generally get set up on those on an as-needed basis. So that's one of the challenges. And basically, another challenge really with the files themselves is we're grappling with file formats as well, which also makes it very interesting. We're trying to find compression formats that allow the files to be a reasonable size that can be sent electronically and yet have the best quality on the receiving end.
So are there any challenges new that you've discovered? Like as you've been doing some searches, is there anything new that you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that this was a new problem we're dealing with?
Well, sure, the digital conversion, I think all the planning that even a large company like ours put into it still throws curveballs every once in a while. It's still getting a call from a production house that wants a codec that we don't have, or vice versa. They give us a codec for a video that we don't have in-house, and then we have to go find that codec and download it, and that always becomes a challenge. And I think, the other thing is just keeping executive leadership aware of how complicated this is, because a lot of times a CEO or a COO will just call up and we just want that video, and or a marketing group will call up and they want that video somewhere, and they don't understand many of the implications involved in exchanging that file. So it just depends on who you're dealing with, and it's a lot of education all the time.
All right, let me actually get into that right there. I think that's actually kind of interesting, is that that's a normal IT issue that people have to deal with. If you're not in IT, you just don't know how difficult it is. So how do you explain it to them?
Well, we try not to. We try to get it done. I'll tell you also something that I think the Streaming Media Conference brings to light is what a hybrid role this is now. Used to, you would have video producers who would work on an Avid, or they would work on a high-end system, but they wouldn't consider themselves as technically capable as they have to be now. And this becomes the problem of the creator of the video, and they're not always equipped to handle that conversation. Sometimes they're not ready for it, and that takes up a whole nother level of time from a production house like ours. So that's why, for us, we're having to assign a particular person, in this case, Leon, whose full-time job is just working through the files that we get back and forth. And so resources is a big, big deal. Understanding you got to commit people to it. So.
All right, last question for you, Leon. I just got hired to do exactly your job for another company. What should I be doing?
Make friends with your IT folks. The biggest challenge for an enterprise is the firewall. You've got to get your media from your internal network, which is surrounded by your very protective firewall, out to a third party outside, or your home viewers, whatever the target audience is. And that's the biggest challenge, is moving large data files through the network. Excuse me, because most enterprises are very protective of the data stream that goes in and out of their firewall. And so right now we're trying to, I would ask our IT to really think outside the box in terms of giving the media producers a route other than their normal data path out of the firewall.